know. Okay, so what I want to do is I kind of want to, since we've all connected through the community, I kind of want to talk about a couple of things in the community, and then we're going to jump into whatever questions you guys might have, and we'll go around the horn. And if we're done in 40 minutes, we're done in 40 minutes. If it takes us 90 minutes, that's kind of where I'm thinking the cap will be. So I don't want to cut people off because I want you guys to get the most out of the time that you're spending here. But just a couple of quick hits within the community, since I have people and you guys are paying attention to me and it's not just words on a screen. Um, One of the things I'm spending a lot of time with right now, and I think when I look at everyone that's here right now, most people are already in the pocket coaching program. If you're not, I'd encourage you to just reach out to me. Let me know that you want access to it. I spent all morning today actually reworking the videos that walk new community members through that first day and that first, few actions, giving them videos on exactly what I'm doing now with the free offerings for everything. And now I've set it up kind of inspired by a conversation I had with Jenna yesterday on people will only have access to different programs based on the interaction and engagement level that they have within the community. So now instead of sending me a message saying I want access, as long as you've engaged or commented or got likes up to 20 points, then you get access to pocket coaching. So if you go into school, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Those of you that don't have a school community for yourself yet, you can see it within Monetized Life. If you click on your profile, it'll show you how many points you have and what level you're at. So I'm moving more and more to that level to reward people's participation within the community. Okay. And I'm going to do that more and more. So these free workshops, let's see, I got all my notes, but these free workshops will only unlock after you gain 20 points. So at that point, you kind of know if you're going to be a member of the community or not. And so they'll unlock and people can come participate. I'll promote it more and more. We'll get more and more people on these conversations. So that's the intent behind that. I'm also kind of looking forward with this whole point rewarding system where once people reach like level 5, we're going to be looking at like more a mastermind type of approach towards things. I haven't figured that out exactly within my head yet, but that's going to be the idea is once we get up. And the other piece of that too is at that point, if they've gained, I think it's 155 points at level 5, that means that they've been very involved, they've learned a lot, and they're probably prepared for that step in the journey, right? It's not just a newbie that might, and I'm trying to make sure I don't say this in any sense of like a derogatory sense in any way. Everyone's going to go through their own journey, but you also want to make sure you have the right people in the room once you start having certain conversations. And so by doing the point system, you'll make sure that it is the right person at that stage, right? So that's kind of just some stuff to look forward to. So uh also putting out more, I guess we're up to episode 3 of Drop It Like It's Scott. Ashby and I have been talking about recording the first episode of Monetized Life. So we're going to continue moving forward with those kind of conversations. So if you guys want to check those out, it's on Spotify, it's on YouTube, whatever, wherever you prefer to go to listen to podcasts. It is a video podcast too, so you can watch the episode. It's just kind of boring because it's just me sitting here in front of a screen answering questions. But we're going to refine that. We're going to make it better. I'm already thinking about ways to kind of switch things up with Drop It Like It's Scott, Drop It Like It's Scott. I think every 5th episode, I'm going to take a break from community questions and it'll be more like a here's what I want to teach you today type of thing. So just another way to outreach for new audience and to share more information with you guys as well. Wait lists, I've kind of been putting this into the community lately too. This is just me gauging what kind of interest people have in different topics. This is actually inspired by you, Waters. Just getting some of your feedback through the 5-day challenge. It's like, okay, I can't do everything at once, but what are people wanting now? Like, what's the most popular requests? And where should I be putting my energy and effort into things? So take a look for wait lists in the community and just let me know what you guys are needing more of. And that's where we will probably spend time with free workshops as well. So when we come in here, it'll probably be a little bit about some of the stuff that we're seeing as the most popular waitlist items. And that's all I got for kind of an update. Do you guys have any questions on any of that stuff before we jump into your questions? Yeah, Waters.
I'd like to point out that on Spotify, there's more than one Scott Weller. So, if you don't type Scott Weller, put Monetized Life.
Like, are they questionable characters? Like, should I go do some research here and be careful?
I don't know. I just noticed that they weren't you. There's a bunch.
You know what you this is probably a pocket coaching episode that I'm about to share with you guys, but so when I first started online and trying to build a community before I really knew what I was trying to do, like I grew a couple of Instagram accounts to 50,000 followers. I had my Facebook account get to 5,000 before anyone else that I knew, realizing that holy crap, you can't get more than 5,000 friends. I was the first person I knew that got there. And the reason why I was and Ashby, you and I have talked about this in regards to like TikTok, like fake accounts, but I was the first person I knew, and this is not me bragging, this is just a funny fact, but the first person I ever knew that had a fake account modeled after him. And so I started branding myself as real Scott Weller. So if you go and look at it, like you could Google real Scott Weller and it's a whole bunch of stuff I don't even touch anymore. But I created an entire like brand around real Scott Weller to the point where I would go out in Edmonton and I'd go to different events and people would say, "Oh, who are you?" And I'd say Scott Weller. And they're like, "Are you the real Scott Weller?" And I said, yeah, I am. I'm the real Scott Weller. But it was all because I had a couple of fake accounts made using my likeness. And so I just started calling myself real Scott Weller. And then it turned into like a bunch of different blog posts that I made about wearing masks and embracing your authentic self and all that kind of stuff. So funny story that reminded me of. Thanks for that, Waters.
Scott, can you actually make this a pocket coaching video? Because I think this would be really sweet.
I can. I'm trying to keep the pocket coaching episodes. Like, you mean that story?
Just the real Scott Weller. Yeah, just call it the real Scott Weller.
Yeah, I can definitely do that. I thought you meant this recording, but I'm trying to keep the pocket coaching kind of 15 minutes or less.
Yeah. And then I just want to say, Tina, I have been working on a Drop It Like It's Scott intro, and it's badass. I still got to bounce it off the big dog here, but like I love it. So we'll get back to you for sure, Tina.
Looking forward to hearing it.
Well, I'm still waiting for my hoodie. Big pole guy here.
Oh, it's in the mail, bud. So it won't be long now.
There's a dozen Scott Wellers on Spotify. T. Wow.
Okay. Wow. I didn't realize Scott Weller was such a common name.
Neither did I. Here's another funny story for you guys. I feel like it's storytelling, but I did just put up a wait list saying, hey, who's interested in storytelling 101 as another topic to maybe dive into. But here's another funny story about Scott Weller in Edmonton. Like so first off, I'm not related to any of them. My dad was an only child. So I have no family on my dad's side. Like my dad's name dies with me, I guess, because my son took his mom's last name and my brother only has daughters. So the Weller name from this lineage is dying. But when I was probably 21 or 22, I was at Waters. Have you been in Edmonton for like 20 years plus?
4 now, but before I was here for 10, and before that 10. Yeah, I'd say close to 20 years over the course of 50.
Do you remember the Iron Horse?
Iron Horse Saloon?
Yeah.
Yeah, down by Purple Onion or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I frequented that place quite a bit. And it was like stumbling distance to my apartment at one point. And I know that because I stumbled home lots. And this one night I went out with a bunch of friends and we met a bunch of girls there and we were dancing and whatever. And I came back from being on the dance floor and my one friend was hitting on the one girl and he kind of introduced us around and we went back out to the dance floor and whatever. We come back and I see those two talking in like a booth. And then all of a sudden she stares at me with this like look of disdain in her eyes, right? And she gets up, walks straight over to me, and I'm looking at her and I'm watching her come at me. And all of a sudden, the right hand cocked back and slapped me across the face. And I'm like, what the heck? What was that about? Oh, you know exactly what it's about. I'm like, okay, no, I don't. Yeah, you do. I can't believe you did that to my friend. Whatever. There was a big thing that apparently I had done something to one of her friends at a bar. I don't know what happened, but anyway, long story short, we kind of did some digging and it was actually a different Scott Weller who was the exact same age, who grew up in St. Albert as opposed to Sherwood Park, and they're both um just outside of Edmonton. So she kind of thought that I was the same guy. Anyway, she apologized, but she had a mean right hand. Okay.
That's funny.
Anyway, let's get into your questions. Like, who has questions for today, or who wants to go over something? Who wants to kind of bring something up that we can, whether it be the why don't we start with the 5-day challenge? Anyone have any questions about 5-day challenge stuff?
Let me go grab my notes.
Okay.
For myself, it was a pretty breakneck pace, considering I don't know what the heck I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like a good challenge, I was pretty happy I did it. I've learned a lot. My notebook should prove that.
Probably looks like Mel's notebook.
Maybe.
I want to say this, Waters, like I've kind of been just watching from the sidelines here, but this past week, man, you've been a dog, buddy, and it's been great to see, and like really just jumping into this thing, and like you look like a different man today than you did 5 days ago, but this was a fun 5 days to watch.
Physically and mentally. You look like a different guy.
A blast making these videos. Like I'm trying to polish the editing portion, like and that's why I started making those motivational TikToks. They were mostly to convince myself to get online and do things. Because like I've been my backstory is I got divorced. I have 3 kids that I haven't seen, and I couldn't tell you how fucking long, and it breaks my heart. I don't know if you guys have ever heard the term narcissistic cult family, but don't ever fucking get involved with one. And now I'm building my strength so I can go back and have round 2. Because it's not fair to my kids to be left in that environment. But I've been run out of town, so to speak, and I've lost everything. My business, my friends. Fuck, I got kicked out of my own band, for Christ's sake.
Wow.
And that's because, well, she slept with them. I suspect. I can't prove it, and I'm not going to get into details. But, yeah, life sucked for a long time. And, I'm almost 50 years old, and I've taken a step backwards. I'm like 16 again. I'm living in my mom's fucking basement, for Christ's sake. And I've been unemployed for the last 4 years, but I did make enough money in my own business to get me through COVID, and I still pay the mortgage and whatnot, but that's running out. So I got to shit or get off the pot, and that's what led me to digital marketing. And then I was in Mexico and had a life-changing experience, oddly enough, in a church. I want to say there was St. Michael was there and shook my hand personally and told me where to frickin' go, what to do, and said the path is there, just walk it.
Wow.
And oh yeah, like I'm not one to cry, but I walked into this church and literally I couldn't hold back the tears. Like I can't explain it. Like what the hell, right? Like I've cut the tip of my finger off and I didn't well a tear. I've busted my fucking elbow backwards, didn't cry a tear. I've almost broke my spine, didn't cry a tear. But I walked into this church and I was sobbing like a little schoolgirl for 3 days. Like, I don't know. But back to the 5-day course here. I've taken lots of notes, and being green, there is a thing about realistic goals and expectations, and like trying to find your message or your mission, so to speak. And right now, like, I'm kind of focusing on just building my following, right? And in your thing, it's, you teach us, hey, give some value. And I guess, being so green in this space, like I've been watching other people. Like I've checked out Fred's store, I've looked at Mel's store, I've been following you, Scott. I watch everyone else's daily content, and I'm trying to, I don't know, make my way through the mess, so to speak, because there's a lot of information coming at me from every direction. And I guess what I wanted to know is, in long-term success, like, because the content I've been making the last 5 days is kind of the direction I'm going to go. I like goofing off. And I think in this society we live in, everyone's like all fucking grouchy and bent out of shape, and life sucks. I want to lighten the mood. So I don't know, like, is that a good direction to take, especially in the business world, seeing how, like, at the end of the day, we're here to try and take the money off the table. And as far as respect goes, can you really respect a clown?
So I'm going to let the group mention whatever maybe comes to mind for them too. But before I open it up to the rest of the group, I have a few thoughts here, and I'm going to comment on a few things, not just the answer to your question. But number one, I feel like you were kind of alluding to, you're not sure if you can provide value yet. Like you almost feel like you're not at that part of your journey yet. And I know, Waters, you and I have already joked back and forth a little bit, so I know you'll take this in good stride. But I know you're not the technology wizard kind of guy. So I'm going to read a couple of comments that people have already written here right now. Number one, Tina said, I love those motivational videos. Then Tamara said, wow, Waters, thanks for sharing. Side note, one of my teens needed me to braid her hair before the gym and just heard Waters talking, and she said, he sounds so cool.
I am.
Then Ashby said, thanks, Waters. Maybe I need to go back to church. It's been a while. So people are commenting on the value that they're taking from you right here, right now. So maybe recognize, take a moment or two each day to recognize that you are providing value, even if you don't think you are yet, because the value that you're delivering is the impact, not the delivery necessarily. The delivery counts, but the value is felt in the impact on the people that you're touching. Okay.
That's awesome. See this tattoo? You might not be able to see it so well.
Nope, can't really see it. Oh, there you go.
So this is me. That's my struggle within, and these are the souls I touch.
There you go.
Quite literally, that's almost going on 25 years old now.
Yeah, so you might as well tattoo a few more souls, because you just touched a few more here right now.
All right.
So that's one comment I have for you. Number two, to answer your question is, and Mel and I had almost this exact same conversation yesterday, is I'd encourage you to maybe rethink the way that you're using your words, in that I don't think you're a clown. I don't think you're a goof. I think you have a specific style. I think you have a specific feel. And as I said, when you first kind of logged in here today, it is a very unique brand that you're building that people will recognize the moment they come across your content. So why not lean into that? You're one of two things is going to happen. You're going to cause some people to reject you, which is great because then you're not going to waste your time with them anyway. And then you're going to attract the people that are going to connect to the way that you deliver your message.
Attract those to my message. Sorry, I'm actually writing this down.
Yeah. You know what? I can put this recording up in the community too, and you can come back and watch it too. So you don't need to worry about taking notes. You can just come back and watch and take whatever you need to from it.
Sold.
So
I've been writing so much lately that my RSI is affected.
And listen, you and I have already talked, but just for the benefit of everyone else that's here today, I recognize that the 5-day challenge was not going to hit the mark in every aspect. It was, and this is the reason I'm sharing it is because if anyone else that is on the call or watching this video later down the road is at the same place where you're trying to create something, just go create it. Get that first version out because you can't get feedback on nothing. Mike Gowans actually put something up about this not long ago, and it really hit home for me. And that's why I'm putting out so much content in the community now, is because you are never going to get feedback on something you don't create. So just create it. Even if it's only 25% good, people will tell you that. And then you can make it 30%, then you can make it 50%, then you can make it 75%, then you can make it 110%.
Shiny.
Exactly. So I don't know if anyone else has any other comments about what Waters was talking about. Feel free to jump in if you want to offer any other thoughts.
Here's a quick question for you, Scott. How do
Yeah.
I mute and unmute Zoom?
Don't worry, you can stay unmuted because we just love your voice so much.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Yeah.
Listen, Scott, can I just chime in real quick?
Yeah, of course.
I was just going to say, I think like Waters' approach over the last 5 days is exactly what the 5-day challenge is all about. It's not that your whole life is like there's not this life-altering movement in 5 days, but what there is a step way outside of your comfort zone to get that ball rolling and to start, like you and I have talked a lot about this, Scott, but just getting the reps in and like stepping into that uncomfortable unknown. Like I feel like and we all know Waters for what he is, and I absolutely adore this dude. He makes me laugh, and there's just something about you, Waters. I don't know, but this is exactly what the 5-day challenge is all about. I think that he's the epitome of what can happen in 5 days, right?
Well, Ashby, I have a surprise for you. When we're done with this, I'm gonna release another video, and I think you're gonna fucking crack yourself laughing.
I don't doubt it for a second.
Just keep doing it, man. Just keep leaning into who you are. That's what people are going to connect with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 10 years ago when I had my business, people used to tell me all the time, get on YouTube and do what you do, right? Because I got the gift of gab.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like now I'm just trying to figure out how to monetize it.
Yeah.
Really liking your guys' idea of podcasts. Like I listened to enough of them. Maybe it's time I start yapping.
Well, and you have a podcast voice for sure. No question.
I really thought I sounded like a hippie.
Well, you do. But I think Tamara had something she wanted to offer up there too, Waters. Tamara, go ahead.
I do want to say, who doesn't love a hippie? Come on. It's awesome, Chris. It's great. I just wanted to kind of ditto to what both Ashby and Scott said, but you're going to find your people. People love entertainment. Some people hate the boring, stiff videos that I make. They like the more interesting ones that you make and Mel make and the more creative style. You're going to find your people, and the people that don't like your stuff, fuck them. Like, bye. Like, who cares? They're not going to be by the people that probably buy off you anyway, right? So when you do start creating products that people want to buy, the boring stiffs in a business suit watching your videos are going to swipe on by and let them be. You can't please everybody in this space. I don't please everybody. Nobody here can please everybody 100% of the time. Do you, be you. That's what you're most comfortable with. And that's what people are going to resonate with. People that are like 50-year-old dudes that have a cool voice and are so awesome and fun and people want to be their buddy. Like they're the ones that are going to resonate with you. So don't worry about being too goofy or too silly. And you know what? You may throw out some videos that are a little bit more serious from time to time and people resonate with that too. So you can do a bit of a mix, but if you prefer entertainment style, then go for it. You're entertaining. We all watch.
Nice.
The beard one, the day you shaved and cut your hair, like holy F, like that was seriously one of the best videos I've ever seen. Shocking.
Actually,
like the
I got
shock
family.
value.
I got family from coast to coast telling me like, "Oh my God, why did you let yourself even get like that?"
You know why you did? For that video.
Yeah.
Well,
It
actually,
worked out perfectly.
Normally I don't shave between September long and May 2-4. Like that was only half length because Mexico is really hot and I just couldn't take it while I was there.
Yeah.
But that's the joys of having your own business. You can do whatever the heck you want, right?
That's it.
Because of that, I'm spoiled. I can't work for somebody else anymore. I want to do my own thing.
And that's a video in itself right there. Being your own boss, you can do whatever the hell you want. Like there's a content idea right there in one of your videos. Like you can do what the hell you want. I can look like this. I can shave it if I want. You can do whatever, but you're going to do well in this space, I'm sure of it. Or even podcasts, because yes, you do have a very cool voice.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. This is very motivating.
That's the idea. What do you got another question, Chris? Or
I was actually just writing it down.
Okay.
What Tamara said, except I only got halfway and now I forgot what she was saying.
It's okay.
Good memory. It's just short.
Don't worry, we're recording it. Remember?
No.
Yeah, Tina.
I just wanted to say, it just reminded me, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
I switched my speakers. I just wanted to say that like Melanie, when she was doing like the Mel, when she was doing all her stuff when she first started in like the digital marketing space, she was saying like, she didn't feel comfortable. And then she started adding stuff that, like on the dirt bike and like all that kind of stuff. And you're like attracting more people now because you're attracting your tribe, like those people that like just resonate with that. So I'm speaking for Mel, but this is just something that I noticed with her channel. So maybe she can touch on that a little bit more.
Thank you, Tina. Sorry, I'm not used to people calling me Melanie. I was like, who's Melanie?
That's funny.
Yeah, absolutely. Just honestly, I know like what Scott, Ashby, T said it, Tina's saying it. Honestly, just be yourself. If you're a funny guy, be a funny guy. Even like just speak what you're feeling that day. Yeah, just be yourself, be authentic. I swear a lot. That was one thing. I have the biggest potty mouth ever. And it's hard sometimes to be your full self because I don't want to offend people. But I mean, we're in 2024. Everyone and their mother is offended no matter what you do. So like T said, and by the way, also, I think T actually touched on this is if you're making videos and not being your full self, you're going to end up attracting people you don't want to work with. And that's not really cool anyways, right? You want to attract the people you want to work with.
Yeah, I agree with that wholly. That's why I bought Roadmap from you.
Yeah, I attracted waters.
I watched a bunch of your videos. I agree with your point of view. And it's like, yeah, that's somebody I can work with.
Well, there you go. That's the example, right? That is exactly what we're talking about playing out. And then Waters, just so that you know, because I know you can't see the comments on your phone, but Jenna wrote, I've worked with keynote speakers and they're gifted with gab, storytelling, bringing laughs, and hitting thought-provoking points. They get paid to speak to companies. I don't see a difference between your gifts and theirs.
Mine are just baby right now. Baby shark. I still have teeth, but I'm still baby shark right now.
Yeah, just keep on growing, man. I think you're further along than you think you are, but you'll figure that out in your own right time.
Yeah, thanks. I really can't overemphasize how glad I am I found all you. Like, this is my tribe. You guys here right now. maybe microgreens should be down here in the corner, and Erica is somewhere over there. Maybe Josh would be nice if he was here too, but like it's really coming together, I feel.
Well, Eric is busy with family and it's day 2 of WrestleMania. So priorities. And I'm sure
Wait,
microgreens,
wait.
Mike. Yeah.
What's WrestleMania, guys?
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm out.
Where's the boot button?
Are you gonna eject me from here?
Potentially.
Sorry, I'll behave. I'll be.
All right, Waters, I'll give you one more question about the challenge at all that before we move on to someone else. I don't want to cut you short, but
I'm good to listen if you want to mute me for a bit.
okay. Anyone else got any other questions this week or today, I guess, this week? I said it like we do this every week. Anyone? Okay. Maybe what I'll do is I'll talk a little bit and I'm gonna unmute you, Waters, because you're the one going through it as much, like more than anyone right now. But
okay.
Maybe real quick, because I don't know how many people have actually dove into it, but day 1 is the foundation. So this is the stuff that I talked about on almost every live for 100 hours, which is the 3 things you need to have in place, which is figuring out your space, figuring out what the problem is you solve, and then mastering your message. The one thing that I didn't spend enough time on in the challenge, I don't think, is you don't need to master your message. You need to start your message. You need to figure out the problem you solve and then figure out the beginning version of your message. Because if you start to connect with your audience and you just keep talking about your message and speaking it, it's going to get better because it's going to feel like you're hitting the mark. It's going to feel like you're missing the mark. If you miss the mark, tweak it. Come at it in a different direction.
Totally.
Just
like
take advantage.
That's something I've been kind of doing is just muddling my way through it. Like I had that accidental live as a business while I was on the toilet, and I reenacted that on day 2. But I asked some really specific questions that I was asking myself. That like, do I have the time? Do I have the balls to show up every day and just keep pressing because I want it and stuff like that? And I want it, so I'm gonna keep pressing.
And balls in that context is double entendre.
Or cojones, massive cojones.
Right, Mel? Did I say that right? Double entendre. Double meaning.
Wait, are you speaking French, Scott?
French.
Is that why you asked me? Okay, sorry. Say that again.
I made it sound Spanish almost.
Yeah, you did, because I didn't think you were speaking French. But I just got it. Double
entendre. Anyway, okay, let's move forward. Yeah, just keep speaking your message. It will get better every rep you take. That's going back to Ashby's comment. Like the more reps you get in speaking your message, and you're never going to master it. You're just going to get better at it. Yeah. It's just going to continue to feel more comfortable. It's going to hit the mark better and better and better. And I saw this like play out when I did the 100 hours of going live, like from hour 1 to 10 to hour 90 to 100 and 115. It was so much easier to throw it out there. It was just rolling off my tongue. I had refined it depending on the people in the room at the time. I would deliver it a little differently. That and I'm going to talk about that. I actually want to spend more time on the audience engagement day, but day 2 is system setup. And this, Waters, you and I have talked about this already. Systems are recommendations. Essentially, all you need is a traffic source. You need a place to bring people back to develop a deeper connection with them. And then you just got to talk to them. That's it, right? Like the recommendations I make in the challenge are what I'm doing, right? Yeah. That's what I'm actively doing. And then I gave the idea to use Facebook groups if people want a free option versus a paid option. So that's all I've done there. Essentially, you just got to use a traffic source, which is going to be social media of some type. So if it's TikTok, great. If it's Instagram, great. If it's Pinterest, great. Each of them are going to have pros and cons. Just get familiar with it and don't spread yourself too thin. For anyone that's been hanging out with our community for any length of time, you've probably heard me use this analogy, and I'm going to use it now. And I'm going to relate it back to something you said earlier, Waters. And that is, if you have a pitcher of something like a water pitcher, okay, a water jug, whatever you want to call it, it only has so much volume inside of that jug or that pitcher, right? So imagine that volume is your energy or your time. Okay. You only have a finite amount of it. If you only have 2 glasses, 1 glass, 3 glasses, you can continue to fill those up. There's going to be enough in that pitcher or that jug to fill up those glasses multiple times, more than likely. But if you have 20 glasses, you're never going to be able to fill up 1 glass all the way if you've got to spread it across the whole 20 glasses. Okay. So when you start thinking about waters, relating back to your comment earlier about all the different sources you're paying attention to, this analogy applies. The different sources of places that you're putting your attention are the glasses.
Yeah.
Now, if I talk about what we're talking about here with the systems and the traffic sources, same thing. If you try to be everywhere always, you're going to run out of time and energy, and you're never going to be able to fill up 1 glass. Get good at one thing, maybe 2 things. I am doing TikTok, and I'm not doing YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. I'm sending people to YouTube, but YouTube is a file retention strategy for me at the current moment. I put my long form videos there so that I don't need to save them on a hard drive if I choose not to. And it's an easy way to maybe gather some additional traffic. I am not spending time there. I'm not strategizing. I'm not putting tactics together. I'm just putting the videos there. If you go look at the descriptions, you'll probably be like, what is he even talking about? Because I'm putting no effort into them currently. Okay. But
staying focused on your goal, I guess, right?
Exactly. I'm focusing on my 1 glass. I have a second glass that I'm pouring a little bit into, but I'm not spreading myself too thin. And I'm not saying, when I go back to your analogy, Waters, I'm not saying don't pay attention to people. I'm not saying stop listening to Fred. I'm not saying that.
Oh, no. I've chosen certain people because I like the way they're sending their message, and I like what they're saying. Right. So like, I'm not watching the go-go girls shake their booty hole, and I'm not watching the kids ride their bikes down the hill and guys jump out of planes and scuba diving. I'm watching just digital marketing stuff as the content that I'm consuming, to focus in on where I'm going with it.
Yeah. And I guess I'm going to get even more specific is I've fallen victim to paying attention to digital marketing, trying to figure out Amazon FBA, Facebook marketing, Instagram marketing, facelift, like the more different approaches to making money online is adding more glasses that you have to fill up. So just be very deliberate and intentional with where you're focusing, because then you'll never fill up 1 glass, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I would say about day 2. Day 3 is audience engagement. And this one, I think I overcomplicated it, and I didn't spend enough time on what I believe to be the secret sauce. And the secret sauce is really just get on your chosen platform, if that's TikTok, Instagram, whatever. Put out your content that's going to connect with your audience. Get to a live setting as quickly as you can, and then make them the star of the show.
Yeah.
So if you think about what I've done on live, Waters, you're a perfect example. When we met, I made you the star of the show. I kept
Yes.
asking you questions. I made you feel supported, and not. I'm making it sound
No,
like it's pretty
you
surface
definitely-
level, but
I will say that you made me feel like I was part of the show, and it almost felt like you were interviewing me.
yeah, and that's exactly it. You were the star of the show, and that's really probably a better way of putting it. Is the most valuable experiences people will feel is if they're the star of the show, not you. And I have stolen this. This is how I approach interviews at work. It's not about me trying to decide if the person is the right candidate, although that is an outcome you're looking for. This is about them being able to feel like you're pulling the best out of them. And if they can express where they feel like their skill set is, and if they have the right IQ, EQ to fit within the organization. I have always approached interviews at work where if we decide to move ahead with the candidate or not, they feel very good about the experience they just had. And that's the same idea with going live and connecting with an audience. Is the first few minutes within a live, I usually pick anywhere from 1 to 3 to 5 people that I try to understand. I build a picture inside of my head about who they are. You were definitely not that hairy when I built that picture, Waters, but you build a picture by where they live, what they're looking for, any characteristics that you can pull out of them, and you keep that image in your head and you try to build a storyline walking them through what they need to do to get the result that they're looking for. If you can build that story, a few things happen, but the two biggest things happen is they start to feel a connection with you and you start to feel a connection with them.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful, Scott. Like, where do you come up with this stuff? Did you go to school or something to learn this, or is this just like tricks of the trade you picked up along the way?
No, I probably picked it up from not going to school.
Yeah, makes sense. I never went.
No, I just like all of us, whatever ideas or things you picked up along the way have been a collection of micro interactions or greater than micro interactions you've had with everyone, whether it be in person, whether it be on a Zoom call, whether it be listening to an audiobook where someone's sharing some ideas, if it's a YouTube video, if it's, a speaker you saw in person, maybe it's a song that connected with you. That's what, whenever you're sharing stuff you've learned, it's the cumulative effects of all these things we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes someone can tell you the same thing 10 different ways, but you just need Ashby to tell you the exact same thing based on his experience to help you make it click.
Nice.
And then
Yard sale, top of the mountain.
Exactly. And this goes back to what we were talking about with you. Sometimes people are going to need you to deliver it in your own unique way for it to click.
Yeah, you're going to love the video I'm making right now.
Okay, so let's keep moving forward. Audience engagement, that's it. Cultivating a community is really just giving a shit about people. Is once you get them over to your community, actually engaging with them, asking them what they're looking for, helping them take the next steps. Mike does a great job of this by just simplifying it, saying, taking people from the sad face to the happy face, and your solution is in the middle of it. Now, your solution, now this is where people get a little hung up. I find I shouldn't say that. Based on what I'm trying to teach to people, this is where I see people getting hung up. And they think that gap between the happy face and the sad face has to be a product. It doesn't necessarily need to be a product in the traditional sense. It can just be a single community post that you're testing to see what kind of response you get, so that then you can dive deeper into that topic that leads to a product.
Mm-hmm.
So don't think you always have to create a product based on whatever that gap is. Sometimes it's just a test to find out if it has the need in the marketplace to explore further. Okay. And that you're seeing it all over the place within my community. And again, I'm not saying that this is absolutely the only way to skin a cat. This is just what I'm doing. Okay. So keep pouring value into people, figure out ways that people like, listen, I've been primarily focused on Zoom or Loom videos and written content. For whatever reason, like I admitted at the beginning of this call, I was hesitating on workshops. Don't know why. But now that I did the one with Heidi yesterday, I don't know what about our conversation yesterday, Heidi, but it got me all jazzed up. Now I'm looking forward to doing more workshops. But sometimes people need this format. And I loved yesterday that we could talk about different things and that the entire call started supporting each other and giving perspective and going that route. Like, I love the idea of having everyone kind of chip in with everyone because I'm a singular perspective, but here on this call, we've got 8 perspectives. So figure out if different formats are going to work within the community too. And then the monetization side of things, guys, like honestly, that's the part that everyone's like intimidated and worried about, want to learn more about. That's the easiest part. There are so many ways to monetize. Yesterday in my conversation with Mel, we talked about a bit of a pivot she's considering doing. And it was like in a matter of 5 minutes, we have 3 to 5 different ideas on how she could monetize it. And it's not a simple monetization topic, but realistic 3 to 5 ideas where she could monetize tomorrow. So the monetization part is where everyone is worried and want to know more. And oh my God, these are the secrets. No. Oh my God. Like, that's the easiest part. The hardest part of this whole thing is probably setting up the system so that you can accept the traffic that you're going to generate. And then it's just showing up. The hardest part is probably carving out the time in your schedule. Like I put up the post a couple of weeks ago within the community. What has been your biggest struggle? What has been the biggest problem? Everyone said time. I mean, I just look at some of the faces that are on this call right now. Like Tamara, you and I had a quick chat. Like you've got kids going off to college, you've got social requirements, you've got a full-time job, you've got the list goes on and on. Jenna is a full-time mom running 2 of her own communities, doing a podcast. You know, Ashby, you've got a bunch of kids. You've got different social events to show the support that you're trying to be, you know, trying to support them through everything that they've got going on in their life. You've got a lot going on too. And so how do you find that time? Like my answer is not the answer I would recommend anyone here or within the community or people I just bump into on the street. I have always said to people, my schedule is ridiculous and I would never recommend it for anyone. When I'm at work, working out of town, I wake up at 12:30 in the morning to do everything I need to do just to get to work. And it's probably going to start like that here again. Like since we've been building this community, I've been usually getting up at 3 a.m. to get everything done with the Monetized Life community before I go to work. And that is not sustainable. I recognize that. But there are things we can do to maximize and be more efficient with the time we do have. That's where I'm going with that whole series on mastering the juggle. So I'm not saying it's the answer to get to the results you're looking for. It may just help you optimize and become more efficient with your time. But that is the hardest part of the entire model that I've talked about in the 5-day challenge, is carving out the time to do what's necessary to set it up.
I feel your pain, bro. Like 3:30 in the morning to just get your school stuff done before you go to work. That's why I can't keep up with you. You've already banged out more by lunchtime than I'll do all day.
But you don't need to keep up with me. You just
Well,
need.
I understand that comparison is the thief of joy. I just mean like I've been like during the 5-day challenge, it was like I'd open my phone and like, what the hell? He's already got 20 more posts in here. Like I just cleaned it up and now there's more.
Here's
Absolutely amazing.
Here's something I would share is I wasn't doing that. I've found the energy to do that based on the response I'm getting from you guys. So when I see you guys interacting with me, that inspires me to show up tomorrow morning at 3 a.m. again. And when I get the feedback from you guys and the questions, that makes it easy when the alarm goes off at 3 a.m. It's like, man, can't wait to see what they did when I went to bed at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Or it's
I want to say thank you for that Loom video you made about the Google Chrome and the vidIQ. Like I was sitting there for an hour, like clicking, like, how come I can't put these two together? And then when you made the video, it's like, duh, you said it in the original one, Chrome, Google Chrome. And I totally had missed that until you made the second video. And it was like, yeah.
And that's totally that's fantastic. Those are the kind of things that I'm not even recognizing in the moment because I think it's that obvious, but it's not. And because I've been doing it a little bit longer, not way longer, but enough that I don't see that as a stumbling block. So that's exactly what I want to hear from people.
Like that was like that was more than that was like somebody just turned the light on and like, oh, there's where you go. Like I was banging my head like, how did he do that? Like then I had no choice but to ask, right?
Yeah. And without you asking the question, the next person that is struggling with the same thing is lost and may not put their hand up.
Yeah, no, I this 5-day course was fantastic. Like I've never used Facebook and I still haven't used it because as I tried to set it up, they blocked me. And then so I waited the 24 hours for the appeal, and then when I logged in, they blocked me again. And I haven't even opened the page yet. So I'm not really sure what's going on there, but
just keep appealing. I did the same thing. So I actually started a new Facebook account because I wanted to kind of see it through your eyes and like, what would that look like? So I went through the same thing and I kept appealing it. And now it's unlocked. I have nothing on there. Like I have my name and profile photo. That's it. But
that's all I've done so far.
Yeah. I started a group because I kind of wanted to remember what that was like so that if you had any questions, I could speak somewhat intelligently to it.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, like the extent of online social media, anything like that is Twitter. And I got kicked off of there pretty freaking hard. Like, apparently you're not allowed to say things about they, them, or other topics, but.
Was this before or after Elon bought it?
As Elon bought it. So he bought it. I was on there for a little while and then, yeah, I said some stuff. Like Nuremberg Code is one of those things you're not supposed to talk about.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And that's the same situation for YouTube. But
that's important. That's important to bring up. Actually, this was another part of a conversation I had recently is when you're talking about traffic sources, you need to know the game, like the rule of the game that you're trying to play. So there's always a way to do it, still be true to yourself, but then have the real conversations within an environment that you control.
Sorry guys, I got to take a phone call here.
Yeah, no worries.
Be right back.
No problem.
All right.
Okay. While Waters is taking a call.
Well, I mashed the button all wrong because hang out here for a bit.
Oh
Did I
man,
mention green
one
at
of a
this?
kind. One of a kind.
All right, I'm gonna have to make that phone call. I gotta call him back. I can't
Okay,
leave him.
man.
I'll be back in a bit.
Okay, see ya.
Thanks.
All right. Okay, I've kind of rambled on. We've talked about the 5 days. Do you guys have any questions? Anything you guys want to talk about now?
I'm not far enough in, to contribute for the 5 days. But I'm loving to hear what everyone else is saying.
Okay, no problem, Heidi. Anyone else at all? And it doesn't even need to be about the 5 days. If you guys have any questions, you're looking for some community support on anything, whatever, let us know.
I'll interrupt again. I would love to hear where everyone else is on social media, like just in general, like where they're putting their focus quickly, if that's okay.
Sure. Wait, why don't we start with Tina and go around the horn? Tina, where do you spend your time on social?
Hello, everyone. I spend my time, I've got a school community, so I do spend a lot of time on there, nurturing that audience, my friends, my community, and I also do TikTok. So those are the two social media platforms that I really work on. I do have an Instagram, but I don't really post that much on there. I think Instagram is just a little bit different in terms of the content that I'm trying to share. So I kind of stay away from that and not post too much on there. But yeah, TikTok is probably primarily my number one source in terms of social media. I've got two TikTok accounts. One I'm sort of shifting. I'm shifting a little bit on it. So it's taking some of my followers a little bit of time to sort of like, what is going on here? She's not sharing like weight loss stuff anymore. Like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? So I'm sort of shifting a little bit. So that's kind of taking a little bit more time. But they're still engaging, which is nice. They've been with me for a really long time. So I've had that channel for like a couple years. So we've sort of established a relationship with a lot of that. Well, I mean, I've established a relationship with a lot of them. So they've seen me go through a lot of different pivots. And I think this is just another one of those evolutions, hence the name, Evolution of Tina. So yeah, so that's sort of me. Rambled on there a little bit, but TikTok.
Thanks, Tina. Tamara, you want to go next?
Yeah, hi Heidi. Mainly I'm on TikTok. I've been on there since about August now, kind of in the making money online niche, digital marketing, and I have an account on Instagram, which I'm not active on. I think I've done 3 videos in 3 months, but I do want to learn it. I am researching my other space that I want to get into because I do want to pivot, and I've got some good ideas. I don't know when I'm going to be able to start implementing them, but I have an idea of having a school community for that because I just think that might even be a better space. I might still have a TikTok account for that one, but the account that I have now will stay what it is, making money online and digital marketing and courses, et cetera, et cetera. But that's where I'm at, mainly just TikTok for now. But there's more to come in the next few months, I think.
Thanks,
Cool,
T.
thanks.
Mel?
Hi, Heidi. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
10-4. Okay. TikTok basically is my jam. I am not an Instagram person. I try. I like Ashby does all the time, pointing thing, and it's like 7 yeah, there you go. He's got it. It's just not my style. I again, like, it works for a lot of people. It's great. I think it depends too on like what niche you're doing. But anyways, for me, I like TikTok. I want to talk. I want people to see my personality. And so right now I have a make money online. I'm in the make money online niche on TikTok. I am working on opening another TikTok account in a different niche. And I'll leave it at that because I'm not 100%, like, I'm working on it and I think I've got my stuff figured out. So yeah. But yeah, TikTok. Again, I rambled on too, but TikTok. basically.
Thank you. That's great.
The one, the only Ashby. You next?
Yeah, yeah. So sorry, Heidi, I gotta follow up all these juggernauts here, but like my social media following is not gigantic by any means. I spend my time in the make money online side on TikTok. I have a school community as well, and that's the majority of my time. I can't buy into Instagram. It drives me fucking crazy if I'm being honest with you. It's a lot of short content with a great big Bible for you to read. I don't like to read a whole lot, so maybe that's it. But yeah, TikTok is where I like to hang out.
Thank you.
And then Jenna.
So for this business, I have 0 social media on it right now. I've been doing it for a long time, and what I find for me is just showing up and engaging and providing value. And it has always worked for me. So that might be a belief that I have, that people always reach out, and people always see me as valuable, and they always are able to understand that if they have a need, that I'll be able to fix it for them. And so I've never had an issue with getting clients, and I've mostly worked with like one-on-one clients. Right now, I have stepped away from one person that I was going to be teaming up with, just because I no longer am in alignment with them. Kind of like the whole boundary thing we talked about last night. I'm not going down that road. So I made that decision to step off and just do my own thing. And I am looking at how I want to show up in social media, because I know how to use social media, and I have grown many accounts. Like, I've done it very well. Doing it for myself is a different breed. So that is where I'm at right now.
Thank you.
And then Waters is just getting started too on TikTok.
Yeah. Now, Heidi, if it's all right with you, could we ask the same for you? Do you have a platform of choice, and maybe a little bit about yourself?
Sure. In the past, I've been on Instagram mostly. And recently, not recently, in the last year, 2023, I had started YouTube channels too that I was working on, but faceless. They were faceless YouTube channels with shorts. And I mean, I had great success with the shorts, getting followers pretty fast. But then all of a sudden the algorithms changed, and so because I was trying to build that to get people who would be interested in a community at some point. But school, it's funny because I was on the synthesizer. I can't even remember his name, but that's how I got introduced to school to begin with. But then I never did anything else. Never. I was one of those people in his group that got to level 2 or something and just didn't, even though his content's great. But then all of a sudden I kept hearing, I can't remember how I came back to school, and now it's like, oh, wow. And because prior to that, I had been looking at how to create a community, but I wasn't looking in school. And so this is all new and shifting, what I'm thinking. And just quickly, because you asked my background, I've been a coach since 2005. I'm diehard, been there for a long time. I was the co-founder of Wake Up Women. I did a co-series book with Wake Up Women that reached, #1 on whatever. And did a lot of things. I've done a lot of things, but I've done too many things, because now I don't know. I mean, I kind of know with Scott's help and Jenna's help, and Mel's help yesterday, where I want to put my focus. But it's been difficult for me. And where I think I want to put my focus is I have been very successful over the years coaching women in transition, like some sort of major life transition, whether it be a divorce or a marriage or a new baby or whatever. But the place I really wanted to put my emphasis within that category is women who are struggling with body issues, and you know, like just had a baby and, you know, struggling with that, going in and out of, you know, menopause or this or that or the other, whatever it is, right? Because there's so much trauma for them, so many people, and they feel so alone, and so many women. And I'm only focusing on women because that's been my game for 20 years. So and so that's where I think I'd like to put my focus, is helping women who want to take steps to help themselves, but it all seems so overwhelming at first. It's just too much, or they go all in and then they stop because, you know, whatever it is, whatever body issue it is. And so I'd like to make it so much more manageable for them emotionally to start with. I mean, as Scott said, you know, of course we want to incorporate everything as time goes on, but it's the emotional piece and the support piece and the just feeling like no one else is going through what you're going through, when in fact there's a zillion other people who are going through it. You just feel so alone, right? So that, anyway, sorry. Now I rambled.
Thank you. Sorry, Scott, go ahead.
No, I was going to say it's totally fine that everyone rambles. I mean, we're all getting to know each other. We're all trying to figure out how to support each other. So we want to hear each and every one of our stories so we can do that. Anyone else? Like, we're kind of getting towards wrapping things up here. We got about another 15 or so minutes before we should probably pull things to a close. But any questions? Anyone else need it? Want to bounce any ideas off of the group? Anything like that? Yeah, Ashby.
So not necessarily a question, but more of a statement that y'all that are doing these workshops here, Scott, I know this weekend was kind of a jump off point for you. Tina, I missed yours, and I was actually wondering if you had a recording somewhere, like not in the females only community, but somewhere that like a guy that looks like he just had a baby could maybe get his hands on it. You know what I mean?
Actually, Jenna's got the full replay in the faceless community if you want to check it out.
Okay, I'll do
Men are
that.
allowed in there, so.
You know, I'm just giving you a hard time, Tina, but I will give it a listen. And just like, I wanted to thank you guys for getting going, because it is motivating, and I love being a part of these. I like connecting with everybody. Honestly, I love like any sort of events like these where I get to, there's always a takeaway, if not multiple takeaways, and it's just good to connect with everybody. Like, I think this community is strong and I dig it. So
Yeah, thanks for that, Ashby. Like, you're a big part of that, right? Like, your energy and the support that you do offline with everyone, when you're reaching out to everyone, shooting a text, asking to connect, get on a phone call, you end up investing 2 to 3 hours at a time with people sometimes. Like, that doesn't go unnoticed. And so just keep being you, man. Like, we all love you, man.
We dig you, Ashby.
hey, I dig all of you too. So yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks, Scott.
Yeah, you bet. Okay. Any other last questions, comments, concerns, need support with anything, want to share a win? Want to share a win at all? Or
I'm up to 255 followers now.
and you had how many when you started?
Like, I want to say 4 when I found you, and then 20 within a few days, and then just slowly been climbing, like plugging away. And I'm really excited to release this next video because I'm hoping it's gonna fucking get me some more followers and help me get to live. But we'll see how it's received.
You know what though? Like, that should show you right there, Waters. Like, you're what is that percentage? That's like 500% growth. Or is it 5,000? No, 5,000. So
yeah, it's I'm just getting on the gas, man, laying the strip, and let go of the steering wheel, see where it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. Just keep being you. Clearly, people are connecting with it.
Yeah, oddly enough, when I look at my following though, it's mostly OnlyFans models. I don't understand that, but I'm gonna go with it, right?
Weird.
How
Like,
do you know that they're only OnlyFans? Their waters.
well, because when you click on their picture and then you see their link, right, and you're like, okay, maybe it's a store, and you click on it and it goes right to OnlyFans. It's like, okay, and then you can't even back out of it. You got to like erase the whole app because it just keeps going back to OnlyFans. It's like, what the hell? And then you sit there mashing the button, and yeah. So now I just look at the picture, and if I see a link, I don't bother touching it. Like,
Oh
I think
boy.
this is why they have hearing aids, because of these viruses or whatever.
Is this all the while you're on the toilet?
No, actually, this is usually while I'm sitting at the coffee table. Like, oh, I got 5 more followers, right? And oh, she's pretty, right? Oh, now I know. Like bad experience breeds good judgment. So now I just don't go down those link holes.
Okay, this is a perfect time to wrap things up. But thanks everyone. I appreciate you guys coming and hanging out, and I'm going to continue to do these, and we'll probably get a little bit more structured. And so just pay attention to the community, because I'll probably ask for feedback on what topics you guys really want to focus on with these workshops. We'll probably do a bit of a, like, very similar to what we did with the live cast, where we'll teach on a certain topic for probably 20-30 minutes, and then we'll open it up to discussion questions, how we can support you, what you're looking for next, all that kind of good stuff. Okay. All right. And with that,
Oh, wow. This was awesome, Scott. Thanks for putting this together.
Thank you.
I love this community. Everyone here is just amazing. And I really personally, I'm looking forward to doing more stuff with you guys like this. Like I'm clearing my schedule for the workshops for sure.
Okay, man. Well, I'll do my best to bring the value every time.
I'm going to have to open my wallet soon here.
Don't worry about that. Everything's free.
Okay.
Okay, guys.
That's my favorite F word.
Oh God. Okay, you guys have a good Sunday. We'll talk to you guys soon. Okay.
Thanks so
All right,
much.
Bye,
guys.
everyone.
Bye.